Hi guys, it's Ella here from Dig Deep Gardening for Life. Welcome to our Dig Deep garden, or today rather welcome to our sacrificial chicken garden that you can see behind me. Really need to clarify that this is the garden that I plant sacrificial plants in for my chickens, not the garden where I sacrifice chickens. Alright, now that that's cleared up, let me show you what I'm going to be doing today. Right, so I did a video recently where I just pointed out that I've put in some basil near the tomatoes that I've put in. Tomatoes and other nightshades like potatoes are not good for chickens, but the chickens leave them alone. They're very, very good at not eating things that are not good for them, in my experience. And they'll eat any tomatoes that do form on these plants. I've got some more basil. There's a couple raspberry plants in here for them. I'm going to put that big blackberry bush in there. And I've just put mint all the way along here. I've explained why I've done this specific planting in another video, so I'll put the link in the description for you guys. But what we're going to do today is a little bit different again. So with my trusty rake, I'm going to take off this top layer of mulch, which is just some straw that I actually got to do straw bale gardens with. Straw bale gardens were a horrific failure only because I didn't get to tend to them. We ended up in hospital with our son for far too long and the gardens got ignored, and like any gardens, didn't do especially well once they were ignored. So yeah, they were a bit of a failure. Also, it's worth mentioning, if you are planting directly into straw bales, that obviously this is totally carbon, right? It's all browns, so we need greens, in other words, balanced nutrients. So because it was totally carbon based, if I were monitoring the garden, I would have been making sure that I put some nitrogen in there. Probably just supplemented with seaweed and fish, to be honest. But back to the task at hand. So because I'm going to be doing this on a relatively large scale, i.e. not just that little patch, but probably this whole end of the garden, I am going to use my rake. And what I'm going to do is literally just loosen the soil like that. This is my plan. I will be taking out any little bits of grass that are obviously growing as I go. And then I'm going to take my bag of seeds. Now in here we have got marigolds, calendula, lupin, we've got carrots, beetroot, spinach, there's some kale in there. These are just going to be all sacrificial plants, so I'm quite lucky to have enough seeds to be able to do this. I would say at a guess there's probably a couple of thousand seeds in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take little handfuls and sprinkle them all around. I do not plan on burying... do not plan on burying them very much at all. So I'm going to do this, then I'll very gently come along and just give them a bit of a sprinkle, and then I am going to layer these on top. Now these were some kind of an animal cage, I think. I don't know, I grabbed them off someone else's trash pile, as any gardener does, and I'm going to put those over the top of the seeds so that the chickens can't just dig them up straight away. And then I'm going to loosely put some more of this mulch over the top of the mesh. So that's going to save our seedlings from the scorching heat and again from the chickens. I'm not expecting 100% strike rate because I'm going to be very fast and very free with it. But also I expect that the chickens will get to some of it regardless. And I'll just be happy to get what we get. I'll be happy to see this place as a flourishing food haven for them, and also providing them some reprieve from the heat, from the rain, bringing about beneficial bugs that they can eat. So yeah, lots and lots of thought has gone into this little packet. I will make sure that I put a list of exactly what's in this bag in the description again, because I googled every single one to find out A, if it was safe, and B, what benefits it had to my chickens. Hey ladies. Okay, so that's a fair section of garden that has been de-mulched. I'm now going to go through with this fun thing. So I've never had one of these prior to having to restock my tools after the flood. And having to restock my tools meant that I actually got to go shopping for tools instead of just acquiring stuff randomly. This thing is awesome. So it's made in Japan. It has got beautiful wooden handle and it is super sharp, and basically you go along and you just scrape the weeds off. I'll show you how it works. We had some digger work done recently where we've changed some landscaping quite drastically, and this is all the topsoil. So usually the operator would take the soil away, but I went, no, you're not having my soil. So it's literally just a case of doing that. How good is that? That's so satisfying, isn't it? Yes. Get out of there. So it cuts it away, and you can do this with a knife. You can do it with anything. I just happened to grab one of these. I quite like the angle on it. It doesn't like stones, but that's okay. As I say, you can do it with a knife. I've got like a Victorinox, however you want to say that, knife, and it is fantastic for doing exactly this. You can be as neat as you like. I'm not being too neat right now. Give it a bit of a whack because I'm going to be upsetting the soil anyway. You do have to watch out for things like this. This here is cooch. Yeah, it's not a good example. I'll find a better one. So I know for a fact that there's cooch grass all through here, and everybody talks about how difficult cooch grass is to get rid of. I'm here to tell you it's actually notoriously lazy. Oh, there's a good one. Oh yeah. Okay, so that is the roots that you'd be looking for cooch. See how it roots very successfully at each node. Oh, focus, there we go. Roots very successfully at each node, and you can see new root growth right there, even though this is just a stem and has been under the ground. So that's alright. We'll pull them out as they come up. I'm not too worried. Not too worried at all. Right, I'll give you the view from the other side. Ta-da! So from here through will be our planting area, and that leaves the chickens with roughly the same amount of garden on this side to just scrummage through while the seedlings are growing. And then once they've grown, I'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll do a switcheroo, but also I've only got this many panels to cover it. This is one of those projects that really only takes like 10 minutes. It's going to be over more or less as soon as it gets started, and now I'm in the flow and I don't want to stop. Here's my beautiful seeds. Oh, are you going to focus? Here's my beautiful seeds. Oh, look at those. I bet the chickens would think they're delicious, but they can't have them. So I'm going to sprinkle and then I'm going to quickly cover them up. A lot of the seeds that I've just planted, sprinkled, don't want lots of soil on top of them. They say a good rule of thumb is the same depth of soil as the size of the seed. So a lot of the seeds are tiny little ones. So I'm actually not going to put any soil over the top of them. I'm just going to give it a bit of a, I don't know, rough up with my rake, and then I'll put the tops on. How perfect is this? It's even got a hole so I can put it around here. These other ones have been tied together by the previous owner, so I'm just gonna snippety snip them. Kitchen shears, kitchen scissors, one of the best garden tools that I have. I use them for so much. They're fantastic for pruning anything that is especially soft that you just want to shape. These, oh, I really love, and they're like $9. Whoever had tied those really didn't want them coming apart. My husband goes mad because I look at this and I'm like, oh, I could use that tiny little clip for something. I'll keep that. Look at this and I'm like, that's still good. You know, I could use that to tie my tomatoes back. There's a few bits in there like that. We have a chicken encroaching. Okay, I've just gone elsewhere in my garden and I've borrowed some borage seedlings that had seeded down. And I also stole this nasturtium that I'm going to put in such a way that they are protected by the mesh. and hope that the chickens don't just pull them out. I do not mind them eating the foliage whatsoever, foliage, whatever, but I would like the roots to stay in this time. This is like the third time I've put borage in here and they just go nuts for it. Okay, finally I am going to just use a bit of the mulch and soil that I've pushed out to the sides and sprinkle that over the top of the mesh. Now the chickens are going to scratch, the chickens are going to walk over it, all of that is totally fine. I'm very happy to just let nature do its thing. I'm hoping that by putting a bit more soil and mulch over the top that it just protects our plants from the heat. Okay, so I've got borage in, I've put the nasturtium, and we've got all of our seeds through. There's some poking out the sides, the chickens are going to eat them. I'm fine with that. I am quite happy to let nature take its course here, and I understand that when I lift the mesh, hopefully our seedlings will be, you know, at least yay tall. Anything that gets pulled off during that process, the chickens are just going to eat it anyway, so that's okay, as long as these little plants get a chance for their roots to get established. And once they are, then I'll be able to plant more easily in between them and that sort of thing as well. If you've done anything like this in the past, please tell me about it. I'll be sharing this on our Facebook page as well, which is a great forum because I can interact with you guys a little bit more and see your videos and photos of what you've been doing in your garden. I would love to see other people's sacrificial chicken gardens. This will also make it a little bit easier for the chickens to walk over. Right, now once I have watered this down, a lot of what's sitting on top will settle, hopefully providing just enough protection from the sun for the seeds to take. The chickens are going to move this, what I've put on top, that of course they are, and I can easily put it back. I can easily take it off once the seedlings are a little bit bigger as well. I've tried to be really thin with it, and hopefully we will end up with a bountiful garden for them. I will most definitely do an update on this one. Okay, I'm going to call that project done for now. You know, to be continued as with everything in the garden, but just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got some value from this video. If there was something specific that you found really valuable, please do let me know what it was. If you have any questions about anything that I've done, please do let me know, and I'll answer as best I can. I usually have motivations for everything that I do. I just sometimes forget to share exactly why it is that I do things a certain way. As my mother would always say, there is method to my madness. And of course, as always, if you have any constructive criticisms or you would have done something differently, please tell me what it was and tell me why, so that we can all learn together. I'm definitely here to learn, teach, inspire, encourage, whatever it is that you need me to be doing. So hit me in the comments so that I can do that. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, and of course share it with like-minded friends around the world, and please subscribe to my channel. That helps me loads to be able to continue to do what I do, and that is bring hopefully valuable content to everybody out there. And with that, I will say goodbye, ka kite. I will see you next time.